Bobby Brown is a famous American singer, songwriter, and actor who rose to fame in the 1980s and 1990s with his unique mix of R&B and New Jack Swing. He became a big deal in the music business thanks to his charismatic stage appearance, smooth voice, and signature dance moves, define an era of music that still inspires artists today. But while his professional life has been full of notable accomplishments, his personal life has been full of intense struggles and well-known tragedies. Bobby Brown was born on February 5th, 1969, in Boston, Massachusetts, a city with a. There was a lot going on in Bobby Brown's childhood, especially in the inner-city neighborhoods where he grew up. He grew up in the Roxbury area, which is known for its rich history and diverse population, but also for being hard on the wallet and prone to crime. Bobby Brown was raised in a big family with 8 other children. His parents were Carol and Herbert Brown. His mother worked as a substitute teacher and later as the head of a daycare center, and his father worked as a construction worker. Despite their hard work and dedication, the Brown family often struggled to make ends meet. The area where Bobby lived was. His childhood was hard because he grew up in a poor area where crime and violence were common. He also saw firsthand the problems that come with living in a bad neighborhood. But even with all of these problems, Bobby Brown found comfort in music from a very young age. He naturally wanted to be on stage, and his love of music gave him a way to express himself and find hope. He grew up hearing a lot of soul, funk, and R&B in his home. Community music legends like James Brown, Marvin Gaye, and Michael Jackson had a big impact on him, and he admired how they could connect with audiences. Bobby Brown's musical journey began when he joined the groundbreaking R&B group New Edition in the early 1980s. Watching these artists perform made him want to become a musician, and he started to dream of one day making a name for himself in the business. His experience not only launched his career, but it also shaped the future of modern R&B music. With a group of young, ambitious boys from Boston called New Edition, he changed the idea of a boy band, and their impact on the music industry is still felt today. Meant to show that they were the new version of the Jackson 5, a nod to the famous Town Act that influenced them. The boys honed their skills in local talent shows, wowing audiences. In 1982, the group's tight harmonies, coordinated dance moves, and undeniable charisma caught the attention of music producer Maurice Starr, who was mesmerized by their energy and potential. Starr signed them to his label and helped them record their debut album, Candy Girl. This collaboration would be the group's big break, putting them on the national spotlight. Edition's first album, Candy Girl, came out in 1983 and was an instant hit. The title track, Candy Girl, was a catchy and upbeat song that drew compares to the early hits of the Jackson 5. It connected with young listeners and became a #1 hit on the R&B singles chart. The group's innocence and energy were perfectly caught by the song's lyrics, which were about teenage crushes and the thrill of young love. The catchy beat and playful delivery made the song an anthem of the time. After Candy Girl's success, other hit songs like Popcorn Love and Is This the End became one of the hottest new R&B acts. The group's sound, which mixed traditional R&B with a fresh, young vibe, was a welcome addition to the music scene. They were known for their high-energy performances, slick choreography, and catchy songs. Teen idols loved them for more than just their music. Their stylish clothes and charming personalities made them popular, and they quickly built a loyal fan base. After the success of Candy Girl, New Edition continued to rule the charts with their sophomore album, New Edition, which came out in 1984. It featured 2 of the group's most famous hits, Cool It Now and Mr. Telephone Man. Cool It Now helped them become known as a top R&B act, and showed how their sound was changing and how mature they were as artists. It was a relatable coming-of-age song about the ups and downs of teenage relationships. Its catchy hook and infectious groove made it a fan favorite, and the lyrics, which talked about the push and pull of young love, hit home with a lot of people. Mr. Telephone Man was another popular song from the album that really stood out. It was a soulful and heartfelt song that showed off the group's singing skills. It was written and produced by Ray Parker Jr. and was about a young man trying to talk to his love interest on the phone. The song's smooth melody and emotional lyrics really made it stand out. It was a timeless hit, and it's still one of New Edition's most loved songs. These songs showed how the group could handle a range of styles and topics, from carefree and fun to serious and emotional. Sincere New Edition's success in the 1980s started a new era for R&B and pop music. People credit Ed with setting the stage for the boy band craze that would take over the music business in the years to come. Groups like Boys II Men, Backstreet Boys, and NSYNC are all examples of boy bands. Drawing inspiration from New Edition's style, sound, and approach to music, they set the standard for how boy bands would be marketed and managed in the future. New Edition also played a crucial role in popularizing the new jack swing genre, which was a mix of R&B, hip-hop, and funk that would define the late 1980s and early 1990s. The genre was still in its early stages during the group's early years, and their later work, especially with Bobby Brown as a solo artist, would help spread this new sound to more people. They made huge contributions to the development of R&B music by bridging the gap between classic R&B and the more modern sounds that mixed high-pop elements. In 1986, Bobby Brown left New Edition too. He decided to go solo, which was a big change in his life and the start of his journey as a solo artist. Even though the new member had made him famous, Brown's growing desire for artistic freedom and his dissatisfaction with the group's management led him to go solo. It was a brave choice because Brown risked leaving the stability of a successful group to go into the competitive music business on his own. Bobby Brown had a hard time finding his own voice as a solo artist after leaving New Edition. His first album, King of Stage, which came out in 1986, got mixed reviews and wasn't a big hit, even though it did have the hit single Girlfriend, which went to the top of the R&B charts. Brown had hoped that this album would be more popular with mainstream audiences, but it wasn't. Brown was driven to rethink his musical style and look for new influences that would appeal to a wider audience. He started working on his next project, and this time he was more involved in the creative process. For his second album, Don't Be Cruel, Brown worked with some of the most innovative producers of the time, such as L.A. Reid and Babyface. Teddy Riley, who was one of the founders of the new jack swing genre. The album's sound was defined by new jack swing, a mix of R&B, hip-hop, and funk with a driving, upbeat rhythm. It was different from anything else in popular music because Brown chose to embrace this new genre. It helped him connect with a younger urban audience while also pushing the limits of R&B. Brown's charismatic performance in the album's cutting-edge production made Don't Be Cruel a groundbreaking work that would go on to define his career. It was released in 1988, was an instant hit with both fans and critics. The album's new sound and Brown's unique style appealed to a wide range of listeners, and it quickly rose the charts. It eventually reached #1 on the Billboard 200, where it stayed for a few weeks, and it went on to sell over 7 million copies. Million copies in the US alone. This impressive feat not only cemented Bobby Brown's place in the music business, but it also showed that he could do well without new additions. Don't Be Cruel produced several hit singles that became iconic songs of the late 1980s and early 1990s. 1990's My Prerogative, one of the album's most famous songs, captured Brown's spirit of independence and self-expression. The words, which say that everyone has the right to live their own life, struck a chord with fans and became a musical anthem of defiance and personal freedom. Don't Be Cruel was an innovative mix of R&B, funk, and rock that showed off Brown's powerful voice and confident personality. It became a #1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100 and is still one of Brown's most famous songs. This record solidified Brown's place in music history. Its mix of R&B, hip-hop, and New Jack Swing helped define the sound of the late 1980s and had an impact on many artists who copied Brown's bold persona. His unapologetic attitude and unique style connected with a generation eager to be themselves and express themselves. His music became a soundtrack for people who wanted to break free from societal expectations and live life on their own terms. The album had an effect on more than just music, it had an effect on dance, fashion, and pop culture. Brown's edgy style, which included baggy clothes, was a big part of this. Wearing pants, leather jackets, and high-top fades was a must during that time, and fans and other musicians copied his high-energy dance moves and stage appearance. He also influenced a new generation of performers who wanted to combine singing with complex choreography, like Usher. Chris Brown and even Justin Timberlake have said that Brown had a big impact on their careers, especially his ability to combine smooth vocals with energetic dancing moves, which is one of the things that makes him unique. Bobby Brown's success was built around his lively stage presence. Whether he was playing to tens of thousands of fans at a sold-out arena or on TV specials, Brown knew how to get people's attention. Brown got a lot of inspiration from artists like James Brown and Michael Jackson, adding dynamic moves and acrobatic steps to his performances. His performances were full of charisma, and he managed to combine singing with complicated dance routines with ease. In his shows, Brown's signature dance moves, like the famous Running Man, became very popular, and people rushed to copy him. Brown's shows were more than just concerts, they were immersive experiences that helped change the music business forever. Bobby Brown set a new standard for live performances by showing that an artist could be both a great singer and a captivating dancer. This led to a new era of R&B and pop performers who tried to match his level of showmanship by combining music with theatrical dance-driven performances. After the huge success of Don't Be Cruel, Bobby Brown had to keep up his status as one of the leading figures in R&B. In 1992, he released his third studio album, Bobby, which showed how his sound was changing and solidified his position as an industry leader. The album had a mix of up-tempo tracks and smooth ballads that showed how versatile Brown was as a performer and a singer. While Bobby didn't quite reach the same level of commercial success as its predecessor, it was still a strong follow-up that. There were several hit singles on the album which showed how popular Brown was. The mix of upbeat songs and smooth ballads showed how versatile Brown was and how willing he was to try out new sounds. Good Enough, a sensual ballad, showed how well he could sing with emotion, while songs like Two Can Play That Game and Get Away made him even more popular in the dance music scene. Bobby Brown's ability to effortlessly switch between different musical styles made him a captivating listen and cemented his reputation as an artist who could deliver both club hits and romantic slow jams. Bobby Brown's career goes beyond music. He has also made important contributions to film and television. His roles in movies and reality TV gave him new ways to showcase his talent, while also Bobby Brown liked acting, which led to roles that used his charisma and fame. One of his best acting roles was in the 1996 movie A Thin Line Between Love and Hate, which starred and was directed by Martin Lawrence. Brown played a supporting character in the movie, which gave him a chance to show off his acting skills alongside a talented lead actor. The movie, a dark romantic comedy with Lynn Whitfield and Regina King in supporting roles, explored themes of love, betrayal, and obsession. Brown's participation gave the production star power. His performance was praised, showing that he had the potential to make a name for himself in the acting world. Perhaps one of the most talked about parts of Bobby Brown's career was his attempt at reality TV. He was in the Bravo reality show Being Bobby Brown in 2005. The show gave viewers an honest look at Brown's life, relationships, and the problems he faced behind the scenes. One of the most interesting things about the show was how it focused on his marriage to the people were very interested in, and the media paid close attention to Whitney Houston's relationship with Bobby Brown. The show gave viewers a personal look into the couple's daily lives, showing both the love and the trouble in their relationship. It also showed how they interacted with their daughter Bobby Christina Brown and gave viewers a look into the some people didn't like how the show showed the couple's problems, but it had a lot of fans and became a cultural talking point. The unscripted, real-life nature of the show made it one of the most memorable and controversial reality TV shows of its time. Bobby Brown's life story is an interesting one with many impressive professional accomplishments. He had a lot of personal problems and tragedies, but one of the most important parts of his life was his marriage to the famous singer Whitney Houston. They were together from 1992 to 2007, and their relationship was full of love conflicts and shared hardships that caught the public's attention and changed both of their lives forever. Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston met for the first time in 1992. In 1989, they met at the Soul Train Music Awards and fell in love right away, even though they came from very different musical backgrounds. Houston had polished gospel-infused pop music, and Brown had raw, streetwise R&B. The two connected on a personal level, and their relationship became a public attraction when they got married in a fancy ceremony. The ceremony on July 18, 1992, was watched with interest by the whole world. The marriage brought together two music giants, but it also hinted at the problems that were to come. The couple's only child, Bobby Christina Brown, was born on March 4, 1993, and quickly became the center of their lives. But even the joy of having a child couldn't protect Brown and Houston from the problems they were facing. The media closely watched their marriage from the start, with tabloids regularly reporting on rumors of cheating, fights in public, and their drug and alcohol problems. The constant attention put a lot of stress on their relationship, making it hard for them to hide from the public or find comfort in each other. Drug and alcohol abuse became a big problem for both Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston, and it had a big effect on their marriage and their own health. The couple's struggles with addiction got a lot of attention, and both artists admitted to using drugs at the height of their careers. Brown has a history of being arrested for many crimes, including drug-related ones. Charges and fights made things worse for them and added to the media frenzy surrounding their marriage. Over time, it became clearer that they were having a hard time because their public appearances often caused worry from both fans and critics, despite the problems and conflicts that were going on in their personal lives. Friends and family have said that Brown and Houston had a strong emotional connection that was intense and passionate, with times of deep love and deep tension. The couple often defended each other in public, and Houston often talked about how much she loved Brown. Despite the problems they had together, their marriage was also stable. There were times when they really cared about each other and understood the pressures that came with fame. After years of public scrutiny and personal turmoil, Brown and Houston's marriage ended in divorce in 2007. It was the end of a very difficult time in both of their lives. After they split up, Houston worked hard to rebuild her career. Talk about her issues with addiction. But the effects of her troubled marriage to Brown stayed in her story as she openly talked about the problems they had together. Bobby Brown was heartbroken when Whitney Houston died on February 11th, 2012, at the age of 48. Brown and the world at large. Houston was found unconscious in a hotel bathtub. It was later determined that she had drowned by accident, with heart disease and cocaine use being listed as contributing factors. Brown was devastated by the death of his ex-wife and the mother of his child. He talked about his sadness in public, recognizing how much Houston had meant to him. Houston's death was the start of a very painful time for Brown and his family. It was a stark reminder of the terrible effects of addiction and how it had hurt both artists. Brown's death from Houston wasn't just the end of a relationship, it was also the end of a chapter that had shaped much of his adult life. He often thought about the love they had shared and the struggles they had been through together, highlighting how complicated their relationship was. Just as it looked like the Brown family might be starting to heal from Whitney Houston's death, on January 31st, 2015, Bobby Christina Brown was found unconscious in a bathtub in her Georgia home. Similar to how her mother died, Bobby Christina was in a coma for almost 6 months before she died on July 26, 2015, at the age of 22. The official cause of her death was a mix of drowning and drug abuse. Her death was a terrible blow to everyone who knew her. Bobby Brown's grief over Houston's death was made worse by the loss of his daughter, leaving a lasting scar on his heart. After this tragedy, Brown became an activist for drug abuse and domestic violence prevention, and he started the Bobby Christina Serenity Fund. House is a nonprofit organization that helps victims of domestic violence and provides resources for people who are struggling with addiction. Bobby Brown's path to recovery has been full of setbacks, but it has also been marked by determination and strength. He has been to rehabilitation more than once, with each stay giving him a chance to heal and reflect. Bob Brown openly talked about his experiences in rehab, stressing how hard it is to deal with addiction and how important it is to get help. Sharing his story has helped him and given hope to others who may be going through similar problems. Bobby Brown's journey is a powerful reminder that success often comes after hardship. Bobby Brown's strength and determination allow him to share his love of music and encourage others to face their problems. He leaves a lasting legacy in the music business, and his story serves as a beacon of hope for those fighting their own battles. Through his art and advocacy, Brown shows that it is possible to overcome hardships and make a positive difference in the world.